welcome to GameGazm. I'm Brent.
I'm Jay.
And today we're looking at Until Dawn.
Yes, is it a game? Is it a movie?
Let's find out. Okay, so you're here and you're watching this review because, like so many people, you're just not sure about this game. Is it a game? Is it a movie? Is it worth your hard-earned cash? Well, hopefully we can shed some light into your predicament.
Straight away, if you're expecting a survival horror game with the intense item management, enemies and puzzles to solve, then you're about to be incredibly disappointed. First and foremost, Until Dawn is an interactive horror movie, and yes, it is one big QuickTime fest with zero real gameplay.
But intense gameplay is not what this piece of interactive entertainment is being sold on. A group of stereotypical horror movie teens heads to an old lodge in Calgary, Canada for an annual party, but this time they play a prank on one of the girls that sends her running with embarrassment out of the house and into the woods!
Take your shirt off. What? Oh my god. Matt.
Oh my god, really? Who does that?
I did say stereotypical horror teens.
That you did. Continue.
Her sister chases after her and quickly things get crazy and bad stuff happens, which results in them being lost in the woods and no one knows what happened to them. Skip forward a year and the teens decide it would be great to reunite and party and mourn the loss of their two friends. It's a typical horror movie plot, but there are a lot of twists and turns and things do get very interesting later on. I can't say too much without ruining it, so I won't, but the way you craft your own experience is very well done.
Okay, so what's the gameplay like? Well, as we said earlier, there isn't much. It consists of walking and occasionally interacting with doors and picking up items. The main bulk of the gameplay is interacting with the other characters, seeing how their relationships build around the story. There are tough choices to make and some of them will really test you. You will fall in love with the character and then have to make a crushing decision on what happens.
Of course, when some action comes along, you'll have to deal with QuickTime events and things like holding the pad as still as you can when you're hiding from a danger. Of all the choices you make, it'll ultimately boil down to one of 3 different endings, but the choices along the way are what makes it very interesting.
For example, there's a scene with Sam and Josh in the basement where a baseball bat is discussed. Depending on the outcome of this, the bat will either be an option later on in the story, or it may be locked away. There's tons of these little changes that will make each playthrough slightly different.
Along the way, you come across these totems. They are dotted about the world, and on the first run through we missed loads of them. What these do is give you a glimpse of a future, a very brief glimpse. It could be guidance leading you to make a good choice, or it could show you danger where a character could get hurt or even die.
No character is 100% safe and all of them can die, so knowing this on your first run is quite intense as you do your best job of keeping everyone alive. But you'll find that keeping everyone breathing is not as hard as you may initially think. But if they die, it's often due to just one tiny mistake, and that there is the butterfly effect. A tiny insignificant event can have massive repercussions down the line, even resulting in a death, so be careful.
If we can take a moment here to compare this to Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, you'll start to understand the type of game this really is, although we feel that for the first time in this genre they finally got it just right. The story is good and has lots of nods to favourite horror movies and styles, and really this is a love letter to all of those Hollywood summer slasher flicks, and in that sense it's really good.
Okay, so by now you've obviously noticed the incredible visuals, and this is where Until Dawn really shines. It looks incredible. The character actions and animations are done with an incredible amount of detail, and the way the environments look and feel is astounding. And the way you can control things like the flashlight with the right stick, such a basic thing, but it adds so much when the graphics are this good.
The camera is another joy to behold. Each shot feels like a Hollywood production. The third-person approach done in this way is so refreshing, as it is a step back towards traditional styles of survival horror gaming like the old Resident Evil days, which in our opinion is very missed. Some people may find it hard to get used to having such a unique camera, but it's all there to bring this cinematic masterpiece together.
The chief to pulling the experience together more though is the musical score. Good music can make or break a film, and it's the same here. Until Dawn is set up like a movie. The score is really important as you will be focusing on it a lot. It was composed by Jason Graves of Dead Space fame. His swirling orchestral horror themes punctuate Until Dawn scares and beautifully complements the game's atmospheric moments and conversations with a grace of subtlety that Jason Graves is so good at.
The voice acting is great, and as the actors have been 3D scanned for the game, you will recognise their faces too. Mike is played by Brett Dalton, who you may recognise from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, and Sam, who is played by Hayden Panettiere from Heroes fame and Nashville. So it's nice to see real people in games, and it makes the character's performance that much more believable.
So overall, Until Dawn is a movie. It's a good horror movie, but when you realise that there is no gameplay aside from the odd QuickTime event, this is the kind of experience that your mum could quite happily sit through, tapping the odd button here and there with pretty much no skill required.
It relies heavily on jump scares to deliver the main horror elements, as the fear of you being in control of your fate is pretty much taken away from you. This also makes second playthroughs not very scary at all, as you know where everything is, and the changes are there, but they are still only subtle.
There is still some longevity here though, as you can play through the game multiple times to find all the collectibles and make different choices to see every possible scenario. And of course, who wouldn't want to try and get the ending where no one survives? It's difficult going against your initial first instincts with a game like this, so further playthroughs may provide more of a challenge as you have to think differently.
But based on all the scores, we're giving this an overall GameGazm 8. A great story and cinematic experience, but those of you seeking a deeper and ultimately more of a challenge should avoid. Until Dawn is great for people seeking a fun horror movie that you can interact with, but that's as deep as it gets. So stock up on your popcorn, turn down the lights, crank up the volume and see if you've got what it takes to survive until dawn. Yeah, until the morning.
Run!
And there we go, so that was Until Dawn. So, an interesting one. What did you make of it?
Well, I really liked it. I mean, obviously, like I didn't really like Heavy Rain that much. I was more of a Beyond Two Souls fan. But I think this one's actually kind of got a good balance between like both of those, and it just felt really good. The horror setting really helped the whole feeling of controlling a movie and stuff like that. But do you think there's room for this kind of thing?
Interactive dramas.
Yeah, I mean, are they a cop-out?
No. Well, they're not a full game.
No.
And there's a lot more they could have done if it was a game. But as far as an interactive drama goes and what they're trying to do with it, I think this definitely sets a new level. As you mentioned, Heavy Rain, I didn't think that was particularly good. Beyond Two Souls was a little bit better. But this one, I think, just blows both of them out of the water. And
Definitely.
if this is where they're going with it, then I think continue on this path, or even go one step further and add a bit more gameplay.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more of the Order 1886 thrown in.
Yeah. Now I see a lot of people like slated the Order for not having any gameplay, and this literally has a lot less than the Order if you want to put it in that context. But it's a different kind of game. I mean, whereas the Order was kind of a bit of action and a bit of a movie, this is all movie that you interact with. So it's and obviously the only gameplay thing that you do is walk. Walk around. But anyway, have you played it? Have you completed it? What kind of things did you experience? Did you enjoy it? Let us know in the comments below. And also, we want to hear like, what your thoughts are on these interactive dramas, and if they should keep going or if they should just stop because you hate them or whatever. Anyway, that's all the time we've got for today. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I've been Bren.
I've been Jay.
And we've been GameGazm.